time to wash this thing, Marty. We can do that, cool foam thing.
Oh, nice.
As you can see, even for a decon soap, cleanse is pretty hefty. So one thing I would do here, and again, everybody's allowed to kind of do what they want, but I'm probably going to let this one sit a little bit, right? We just got it home from the dealership, from a private seller. I want to let the soap work a little bit. I'm going to wait a little longer. I'm probably going to do a rinse, to be honest. But that's a judgment call. This one, like you said, it's been about a month. We see some warning signs here. We see somebody's already got the car wash sticker.
Oh, there we go.
We're going to let the soap eat a little bit. Again, it's a higher pH soap for a little bit deeper clean, decon the paint, purify the paint, get this thing back to what we call, naked paint.
All right. You said something there that I know some people are going to question. So let's go. You said, I might rinse, but I might not.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna see how much starts coming off.
Well, there's some people that would say, hey, right now you should rinse the vehicle.
You can. It's perfectly fine to do it either way. I mean, this is what I want to say. I am big on assessment. I start seeing some things here in the front. We got some stuck on. We may have had something like tree sap at one point. Mm-hmm. Something's gone on.
And you got some bugs that somebody had let sit too long.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just more than likely, and this is what I do in my process, if I'm, like we have a Lexus SUV, went to the body shop, got in an accident. I still have not been able to get it into my shop because we're so busy at hyperCLEAN, busy at VR. When I bring that back, I'm gonna run some pretty strong cleanse across that vehicle, and I'm gonna do what I'm about to do now is let it sit.
So, if we wanna pre-rinse the vehicle, let's say we got a bunch of mud, if we got a bunch of contamination, we can pre-rinse it.
Yep.
If we don't wanna pre-rinse the vehicle and we wanna just go straight in with cleanse, we do need to make sure, like you said earlier, hey, make sure it's not hot.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But then, we're safe.
Yeah.
To just spray foam right on there. Some people really might question that. So we want to go ahead and say, you can, with cleanse, just foam straight onto a cool vehicle, even if it hasn't been pre-rinsed.
Yeah, and we're just going to let it just kind of eat away at what's on there. And like I said, I got some worry stuff on this hood, which is mainly the reason I would elect to just let it sit, then go through a rinse, then go through a wash. That'd be the reason.
So one thing that I do when I've shot the car down is I look for breaking points, right? I look to see the way the foam's sitting on the car, because then that will tell me a little story. That story will tell me if there's a protection on there.
Yeah.
Right? And you got some that's starting to break apart, but for the most part, the foam's just sitting, sitting still.
Yeah.
Sitting as foam.
Yeah, so like if you had Uno, Trey, Sparta on this vehicle, one of the things you would notice, like Marty's saying, this would almost start to like break apart and sheet itself off. Mm-hmm. Good sign of your coating's healthy. This is a perfectly great product to use on your coatings, right? Let's say you've neglected your car. Like we never talk about that. I got a coated vehicle, I got a PPF vehicle. Man, life's gotten in the way. It's been 8 weeks. Go to cleanse. Don't try to use anyone's pH neutral when your car is hammered, in my opinion, because we have to understand what pH neutral means, okay? It has cleaning power. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't have that next step of cleaning power. So pH neutral is great. My car's maintained. Hey, it's a summer day, spring day, fall day. I just washed it a week and a half ago. I got some extra time, boom. Right?
And the chemistry is in the soap with the pH, where we don't have to geek out in it. But it is true that a higher pH soap's going to pull more grime, right? Our degreasers, our things like that are higher on the pH. They are designed to pull. Now, the chemistry that we try and do here, right? We talk that next level. We talk about crafting car care products. So hey, go click like, click subscribe. If you want to support American-made products, that's what we do, and we craft them. Craft them to do this, where it's a higher pH, but it's not that pH that's going to start stripping the plastics, and we've seen plastics turn white, we've seen paint get chalky, we've seen flash marks. It's crafted in a way that it is higher pH, but we've made it so it's safe on the rest of the vehicle. We don't want to damage while we're cleaning.
Well, tell people this. One of the things that we find out now, start making our own products, is people oftentimes make things higher pH by using solvents, right? And harsh solvents.
And caustics.
And what happens is, think of taking straight rubbing alcohol and wiping it on a piece of trim. You'd be like, well, I would never do that. Well, there's an equivalent to that in some of these products. I see a lot of talk about APC, and APC is this safe thing. It can be very safe. We have an APC that's very safe. APCs can also go the other way, where they're not safe on anything. You'll see those run lines on an interior, you'll see run lines on trim, and people automatically,
flash marks,
people automatically think, well, that's a degreaser. Not always. There's a lot of guys that use APC on the exterior, and they think it's safe because I saw somebody do it. Then they look up and they go, did I cause that? Did I screw up my vehicle? Did I screw up a customer's car? So this is just ultra safe, and it's higher pH. And like you said, look, we can almost identify
there's some parts
that there's no protection on this hood, right? Now, the formula is designed to eat away. The formula is designed to take away really cheap paint sealants, really cheap spray-on waxes, clean that stuff off. Really any glaze should come off with this. This is not going to take your coating off a car. This is not going to damage your PPF top coat.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, it shouldn't. If you have a really high-end, really well-made ceramic coating, this is just going to deep clean it. It's not going to affect it. And this is one of the funny things, Marty. I see a lot of conversation about guys worried about using higher pH on their ceramic coating. If your ceramic coating is formulated right, it's supposed to be chemical resistant, meaning all the way up to 13.5 out of 14 on the pH scale. And remember, that half is sort of just like there to say, don't spray something crazy on the car. Even all the way up to 14, most ceramic coatings are going to be fine. Very few products are 14 on the pH scale, let's be honest.
Yeah,
but
most we find 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
And a 12 pH degreaser is very common.
Yeah.
And we're not still going to, even though we're saying, hey, it's going to, don't be that mad scientist in your own driveway going, oh yeah, guys, let me show you, right? Like, these are always the fun ones. People want to prove wrong. Like, your average cleaner taking care of it in a good way, a hyperCLEAN coating is going to withstand 12, 11, 13, right? And that's always been the interesting part where people go, you're right, like they'll say, hey, I'm not supposed to I've got this specialized soap, or I only can use this certain, now we have those specialized soaps, but we don't ever say you can only use that. I mean, with our coating system, absolutely should use cleanse.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we have a Lexus coming back from the body shop. We just got it back. I haven't had a chance to get to it. Cleanse is what I'm reaching for. And by the way, for my family vehicle, it's almost exclusively cleanse because I'm not able to touch it every week. They have, we have things we got to do as a family on the weekend. I got a shop, I got mobile guys. I'm not able to get to it every single week or every 2 weeks. And so this is what you have to step up to. People have been made to fear higher pH soaps, and pH neutral's been thrown around so much. Look, man, pH neutral soaps are awesome. Okay, the technology and the fact that we have pH neutral soaps, it's a great thing. There's also times to step it up and say, let me make my life a little easier. We've let this dwell pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and do a thorough rinse. And this is where I am, Marty, going to take some time and get this thing pretty clean. So when we go in for a contact wash, we're in a good spot. All right, so we got our first rinse done. We got a little tiny protection hanging around. But one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some TRX for our final little contact wash here, and I'm gonna spray down the door jambs. Because again, we just got this vehicle, right? We haven't really done, I'm gonna spray. If you got real bad door jambs, obviously you're gonna have to go in here with a brush and really agitate. We don't have that here, right? So I'm just doing this as a step to kind of clean up this kind of dirty area. Then I can assess it at the end, right? But I mean, there's a lot of places, man. You get a lot of mud, dirt, grime in here. Car's been neglected.
Yep. Yeah, it really does help get around, especially all this when you get deep into the door jamb. Go ahead and get some TRX deep in there, letting it start eating away. Especially you get that dirt that gets down trapped in those plastics right there at the bottom.
You could go APC here. I know a lot of people do. I'm just, because I like TRX so much, I'm just gonna stay with TRX. And this is just about helping us more than anything. This is definitely not something that we need, you know, quote unquote. You know, these aren't, but I mean, there's a lot of door jambs you come across. You'd have to get in there with a brush and, you know, rinse it real good. You know, we're just not in that position with this car, but I'm gonna take some extra cleaning power here. And this will mostly just wash away with our final rinse. And again, I think this is nice to kind of reset your car, right? You just bought it.
Yeah.
So you don't know the level of care. And to me, this is kind of one of those no-brainers.
All right, so you put some more cleanse in, right?
Yeah, most of the time you don't need, you know, you don't need to add, but I really foam this down. Like I said, we got some type of protection kind of holding itself. So this contact wash is gonna get us where we're going.
My fault, I just...
Hey, look at your boy. Go ahead.
This contact wash, what?
This contact wash, you know, should get us where we need to go. And again, we're gonna assess at the end what we wanna do. Do we wanna go to a quick, you know, sealant? Do we wanna go to a quick, you know, 1 year coating, or are we gonna polish this thing? And that's gonna be dependent on what your skill level and what you're doing.
Now, we've already cleaned the wheels and tires, but I still spray the foam up in there anyway. I don't know why.
I kind of do the same
It's
thing.
just a habit, I think. All right, starting at the top, always. But you want to go back over your folding towel system?
Start at the top. Using one side. We'll go a little further because I'm using it on the glass here, which we're not going to cause any damage. But then I'm flipping over, and that's it. That side's done. Going to a new side. And again, no pressure. You know, people oftentimes use a little too much downward pressure. Okay, so with this side, now that I have it dirty, a lot of times what I'm gonna do is go down to the dirty bits on the bottom here, this plastic piece, kind of get it before I flip over to my new side and do the whole bumper.
Plush is the word, right? Like,
Yeah, I love these towels.
they're just, it's like you got a whole lot in your hand. Not all of us are used to feeling that, I guess.
He's gonna get us banned from YouTube in 5 minutes. All right, like and subscribe. We may not be here tomorrow because Marty's making jokes.
But, right, like you might grab another microfiber towel, and when you put it in a 4, it almost feels like the same as the single side of this.
Yeah, agreed.
So I grab it and start working. It's like, yeah, that's a lot. Definitely, you can feel there's something as the mitt glides. You go, well, is there something on the paint? Then I go, there may be, but I think it's mostly the lubrication and cleanse.
Yeah, I don't think we have. If anything, we have sort of what you would call a dealership sealant, you know, low grade sealant on here, which, you know, they gave an effort, I guess.
Yeah, and that's why I think that's the uniqueness part, that it's something that you really can't overstate. Because as you move cleanse around, it doesn't grab.
Oh yeah, I know.
Your towel, your mitt, whichever you choose. I think that's why you probably like it. Maybe that's why most of us like it as that regular soap that we use. We're going to get a real good clean out of it. And we enjoy using it. Like, we don't have to fight it. It's just, we go over and we enjoy our process.
Yeah, so many decon soaps, they just go with that harshness, right? And this has got all the pH you need without that kind of harsh, I don't know. I call it sticky. Even when you put your hand on it, it kind of feels harsh on your hand. I'll flip to my last side here. And basically I got most of the vehicle safely, never reintroducing anything, never trying to quote unquote rinse something off into a bucket. And, this is just what we found works the best.
All right, so go put this back in our regular bucket.
These are done for the day. Now, one thing I do is I'll take, it's already dirty. I'll go and get the fender wells, get the very bottom.
Yeah, that lip, right?
Yeah.
The fender lip.
Get the lip.
That's what this line right here is. Grab that fender lip. Must have been the ones that you cleaned, huh? That's why there was still some grime in there.
And I'll reach under here all the way to the bottom and call it a day. These go into the laundry. They're no longer part of anything. And, just I think makes things really easy. And this is where we're gonna do the most thorough rinse that you're gonna do throughout, right? Remember, we got the TRX eating away the door jambs, the dirt, the grime. And so here we go.